Polishing a beautiful Porsche. Hi, I'm Ivan.
And I'm Bo.
And this is DIY Detail. Bo from Mr. Ladd. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Ivan. How are you?
Excellent. So it's Million Reflections. That's where the name Mr. comes from.
Yes, Mr. Ladd, basically MRLAD, Million Reflections, luxury automotive detailing.
Yeah.
So cumbersome to say, Mr. Ladd it is.
Exactly. So today we're going to be polishing with our cord-free polishers. Bo has the DA in his hand, 25mm stroke. I had the Rotary. The car's in great shape. There's no scratches on it. The owner is happy with the level of the paint that it's at now. We're just going to bring it up a notch.
Spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah. So let's carry on. Let's get polishing.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yep. We always start with a clean, damp pad. So a couple sprays of rinseless into the pad. And then clean it out in the pad washer. Spin it at speed 6.
Nice.
One spray of the gold standard on the pad. We have a nice even distribution of polish all over the pad.
Okay.
It's ready to go. We have a damp pad, so no dry polishing. And off we go.
Off to the races.
Yep.
Here we go. Well, so I'm going to need to prime my pad then.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it all primed up and everything. So as you said, we're going to do just a few sprays.
Yep.
And then come in here.
Yep, rub it up against there. There we go. Then lift it up about a 1/4 inch, bring it to speed 6, and you're getting the excess liquid out of the
Okay,
pad.
so I see what you're saying. So,
yeah.
Oh, so I had the speed up too high when I was doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so lift it up, speed 6.
Yep.
And then
You're good to go.
we're good to go.
One spray of polish.
On speed 6?
No, speed 2 on the DA.
Okay.
And I'm using speed 1 on the Rotary.
Okay, perfect. So the objective is just to do a paint enhancement. We're not going full-blown correction, so we don't have to worry about necessarily all the crosshatch and all the doohickeys of what you would normally think about in correction, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. The objective is just to make sure the paint is nice, exfoliated, and prepared to receive the coating.
Yep. The goal is to remove the
sealant.
The sealant that could have been there.
So there's a really nice balance with this.
Yeah.
There's a nice balance. It feels comfortable. And so after each pass, I go ahead and do the same thing I did before, clean the pad out. So one of the cool things about having your own company, your own product company, is that you really get to have a say and an influence as what's going on in the industry.
Yes.
What are some pet peeves or things that you wish would be different in the detailing industry that you've noticed?
A lot of companies cater to overthinking. So we mentioned in the previous video using a pre-soak foam that's designed just for that, or the multiple pH washes. It's really not necessary. It's the contact wash that's doing the job anyways.
Yeah.
We just want to get that grit off the surface. And companies coming out with, a low pH and a high pH. And pH is something that's overdone in our industry. In the last 3 or 4 years, it's really become a buzzword, when in reality, it doesn't mean much.
Okay.
You look at a wheel acid, it'll be between 1 and 3 on the pH scale. Coca-Cola is 2 on the pH scale. Would you try to remove something off a car with Coca-Cola.
Probably not, although I might have a new wheel cleaner.
Yeah, no, it actually doesn't work.
Yeah.
Even though it has a very low pH,
Mhm.
it doesn't do anything in cleaning.
Yeah.
So the pH level really isn't as important as people make it out to be.
Okay.
It's the quality of the materials, the surfactants that do the job, not the pH scale.
Now, do you think that that's a result of just trying to sell more products?
That's a result of detailers going, I think this would be a good idea. And some companies put their hand up and go, we'll make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They see a market for it.
They see a market for it. And, you know, it's sort of like the pharmaceutical industry.
Mhm.
The pharmaceutical industry, they will, you know, eventually we'll probably see an advertisement saying, do you walk upright? Do you drink water? Do you breathe air? You might be a human being, and we have a cure for that.
Yeah.
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 You know, that's, you know, there's always the three things,
Mhm.
and then we have a cure for
It's
it.
like the old Seinfeld bit. Do you have pain? Do you have lightning pain going on?
Yeah.
You might need this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's all sorts of things that are there to please the detailer that overthinks.
Okay.
My philosophy has always been over deliver, don't overthink.
Mhm.
So give a better product, one that has multiple uses, does a good job, has what, you know, does what it needs to do without having to have 18 different products.
Okay. So
Yeah.
don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Think less is more. So in the music industry, we say less is more. I'm a drummer. So, you know, the less you do, the more you're really doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Same concept.
Same concept in detailing.
Oh, how neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So-
that's awesome.
And we don't have to worry about the polish drying in the sun.
Mhm.
We can sit here for a day and we'll
Okay.
still be able to wipe it off. So
Even if it was in direct sunlight,
even in
regardless
direct
of the shade.
sunlight, yeah. So we can do the whole car if we want to and then wipe off.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or if you want to wipe off now, you can as well. It's not a big deal.
Well, what do the viewers want to see? Sorry, I was bad. I'm terrible.
We'll let it bake in the sun.
We'll let
Yeah.
it bake in the sun.
Yeah.
So, all this time I've been seeing people use pad washers. I thought there was actually water in there.
So the Lake Country one there is,
Okay.
but the Lake Country one sells for 180 bucks.
Okay. Where in comparison, this one doesn't. It sells for.
Well, this is a prototype. So.
Oh, okay.
But our goal is to sell it for around 50 bucks.
Oh, I'll take this any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the goal of this is to simplify pad washing.
Mhm.
You don't need an expensive tool. You don't need all sorts of, you know, fancy things. It's just spray the liquid on, wash it in there, and the bumps are actually engineered to act as a pump. So they're actually forcing the pad to go up and down.
Mhm.
That forces the liquid into the pad, and when you spin it out, you get the liquid out of the pad.
Okay.
Yep.
So, what do you say to the detailers or the shops that swear by compressed air for cleaning pads?
That is great because they're going to be buying a lot more pads.
Okay, so you would really like for them to do that because then you could sell them more
No,
pads.
we don't want you doing that. Using compressed air or a pressure washer, those are great ways of shortening the life of your pad.
Okay.
Because this is foam, and every one of these little bubbles, when you throw compressed air or pressure from a pressure washer in there, you're breaking the bonds between those little bubbles. So you're effectively breaking down the pad a lot quicker.
Okay.
Whereas this doesn't damage the pad. You know, in my shops, we had 3 machines. So every detailer had the 3 pads with their 3 machines. They never changed pads; they just changed machines as they were going. But they would do 10, 15 cars with a pad before taking the pad off
Interesting.
because they cleaned it after every section. You're always working with a clean pad like brand new.
Cool.
Yep.
Good answer. So I think it's time to address the elephant in the room.
That is
Finishing with the rotary?
finishing with the rotary. Definitely, it is my preferred way of finishing.
Interesting.
Yeah. You get a little more clarity from the paint.
Okay.
Now, this is a metallic paint, so we're not going to see a difference. But if we had like a raw black paint with no metallic in it,
Mm-hmm.
you would actually see a slight gloss increase using the Rotary over the DA.
Okay.
With the long stroke DA with the 25 millimeter, you don't have as much of a chance of micro marring as you do with a 15 or a 21, but there's always a chance.
Of course.
Whereas this, you have no chance of micro marring.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Because I think there's always been this, not stigma, but fear in the detailing community that rotaries are pretty much to stay away from at almost every situation unless you are sanding out or you're polishing out sanding scratches.
Right. It's a myth.
Yeah.
When I started detailing, DAs did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't around. We cut and we finished with the Rotary.
Yeah.
And we had beautiful cars back then too.
Okay.
So, and now today's pad technology has advanced so much that anyone can finish with a Rotary. When I teach someone to detail, I always start them off with a Rotary.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first tool they use.
Interesting. Okay.
And then we'll progress to the
And then
DA.
you go to the DA.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is like the final boss for some reason, even
Yeah.
though it's easier to use. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
One thing when you're applying the gold standard polish to the pad,
Mm-hmm.
pretend that that sprayer owes you money. You're angry at it.
Okay.
A very quick, yeah.
Get it.
Yeah,
Okay. You owe me money. All right.
yeah.
Tax season's coming up here. I
Yeah.
need my money.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Get my money. So what's the reasoning for polishing the glass with a standard polish? Does it really do anything? What's the purpose?
Again, to deep clean.
Just to be clean, okay.
Yep, that's all we're doing.
Okay, because I know that a lot of companies put a lot of marketing dollars into designated glass polishes.
Yeah,
I mean, are they necessary?
not necessarily.
Okay.
To really deep polish a glass, to remove a scratch, you need cerium oxide, you need all sorts of things that the typical detailer is not going to be using. I've polished lots of glass in my time, and you need to use pressure. We use a center feed water, so there's actually water coming out of the center.
Yeah, it's a whole different type of polish. It shakes real quick and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you have a deep scratch, you're not going to get it out.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times it's less expensive to replace the piece of glass than it is to polish it.
Well, in Florida, we have, it's by law, part of our insurance is free window replacements. That's part of our insurance policies over here. So, I mean, if someone needed that, then I just say, hey, call your insurance company, get a new windshield for free. It's included.
Yeah, exactly. So have you ever finished with a Rotary, Bill?
I've never finished. I've used rotaries and I love rotaries, but that's why I was so shocked to see you try to finish with the Rotary.
Well, you're going to finish with a Rotary now. We'll switch tools.
All right, well, here we go.
Let me prime this up for you.
Throw me in the fire over here. Okay, here we go.
So the goal Lowest speed it'll go,
Mhm.
no pressure, keep it flat to the panel, and have fun.
Just go at it.
Yep.
Okay.
So how do you like it?
I really like it. It's smooth. So I've
Yeah.
used a lot of rotaries that pull you away and everything like that. And I would
Yeah.
imagine, you know, probably the fact that it's at speed setting 1, I'm extra confident. But so one thing that I've seen a lot of people do, and I'd like for you to speak to this,
Yeah.
is when they use a rotary, they'll put it on a slant.
Right,
So you mentioned specifically keep it flat to the panel.
right.
What are your thoughts on those techniques?
So keeping it on an angle is a great way to get holograms in the paint.
Okay. And we
it's-
don't want that.
No, and it slows you down.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the, the imprint of the pad,
Uh-huh.
it's only a quarter of the pad you're using, whereas if you're keeping it flat, you're using the whole pad
Mhm.
on the surface. That's the whole idea. By
Okay.
using the whole pad, and also our pad is a lot different than what else is on the industry.
Mhm.
So it's a much thicker pad,
Mhm.
a much softer pad, and the waffle surface allows you to glide it easily. It's not going to grab on you. The less you try to manhandle the tool, the
Mhm.
easier it's going to be.
Okay.
So a lot of times I polish with one hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just, very easy to do.
Yeah.
Again, the less you're holding onto it, the better it is.
Okay.
If you remember back to high school,
Mhm.
the janitor with the big floor buffer
Yeah,
going down the
yeah.
hallway, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a 20-inch or 22-inch rotary. That's all it is.
That's really all it is. Okay.
If the janitor would have passed the handle over to you, you would have bounced off the lockers till you pulled the cord out of the wall.
Yeah.
Whereas the janitor had his, all his keys hanging down on the chain there and had one hand on the tool.
He's just chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just going along because he's not trying to control the machine. He's
Okay.
just guiding it. And that's all we're
Ah.
doing with the rotary. We're just guiding it.
That's never been explained to me before. Okay.
We're just asking it to go here.
Okay.
If you try to tell it to go there or
Would
yell
you,
at it,
would you
it's not
please
gonna work.
come here?
Yes.
Would you please? Okay.
Yeah.
Try to be polite. Got to
Yeah.
be polite with it. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. So I've seen a lot of people do that. And do you think that's usually when they're trying to cut, extreme cut? Because you said that's a great way to get holograms. So
Yeah.
that maybe on a slant might be effective for a cutting phase or a cutting stage. But
Not necessarily,
Okay.
because you're using, again, less of the pad.
yeah.
So you're using a quarter or a third or a half of what the tool
So
can
it's more
provide.
placebo, if anything.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay. That makes sense.
And some people try to put pressure behind the machine. When you're putting pressure, if you're trying to keep the pad flat
Mhm.
and applying pressure, you're not going to have a good day.
Mhm.
That's why they angle it up. But if you're not applying pressure, the tool actually works better. It's a happier tool, you're a happier user,
Mhm.
and you get a better result.
So it's impatience.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
you
makes
get
sense.
you get the feeling like you're doing more, but in
Yeah.
reality you're not.
So I got to say, Ivan, I really like these machines. The balance is great. It's not jerking me around or moving me around or anything. It's just overall a very comfortable user experience.
Yeah, that was the whole goal behind these tools, is to make it like a corded tool that we just chop the cord off.
Yeah.
And you know, the weight, the balance, there's a little over 4 pounds on the head, less than a pound on the handle.
Okay.
So when you're holding it, you know, the weight is centered on the pad where it should be. The side-to-side battery, people think it's really weird, but think of a trapeze artist.
Okay.
So being side-to-side, the weight distributed left to right, it actually effectively lowers the center of gravity in a sense.
Yeah.
So the battery doesn't feel like you have a battery sitting on top. Because of that center of gravity, it lowers it, and it just feels like the battery wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And so I got to be honest. So for me, I've always been fearful of trying to finish with the Rotary.
Right.
Seems like now we haven't removed it yet, but just overall the mindset of not having to be fearful.
No.
Alleviated 100%.
Yeah, if you're trying to finish with a Rotary and you're using a flat pad, it's not going to work. If you're trying to use high speed, it's not going to work. If you're trying to angle the pad, it's not going to work. But very thick waffle pad, soft, slow speed, slow arm movement, you get a beautiful finish.
So it's one of those things where, in essence, common sense dictates the better results. Common sense is you don't have to go crazy on the speeds. You don't have to push into the paint. Use a decent quality pad. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
Common sense says do all those things and you'll have a good result.
Yeah, logic is one of those things that escapes some people.
I'm still trying to figure that one out. You know, I'm still trying to find my logic here.
So from there, we wipe off the polish. Removing the polish residue, we use a rinseless dampened towel,
Okay.
followed by a dry towel. The surfactants in the rinseless help break down the polishing oils, making it a lot easier to remove, and you don't have to apply pressure.
Okay, cool. Which makes a lot of sense, not having to apply pressure, because the biggest fear when it comes to removing polish is putting swirls back into the paint due to pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
In another lifetime, I'd like to be over 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
it has its inconveniences. You can always get a ladder. Taller people can't shrink.
Ah, there you go, see? Also, being shorter, it hurts less when you fall.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's our short and tall jokes for the day. Back to your regular scheduled program.
And you're not short.
I mean, I'm like 5'9", on a good day 6'4", you know, it is what it is, you know.
Depends on how boosted the ego is that day. Yeah.
Exactly, right now I'm feeling like a strong 5'11", so.
Okay, yeah. Now, for those of you that think you're height challenged, by opening the door, you can get a lot further into the vehicle without rubbing up against the paint.
Ah. Even opening the door, I still got to get on my tiptoes.
Yeah.
Now my wife, she's about 5'1", so
Okay.
so it's got to be rough for her. But then again, she's a paralegal, so she's not really in the whole detailing game.
No. She works more with her mind.
She does, and she's excellent at it. She is phenomenal with her mind. I, on the other hand, am
Hands-on.
exactly. There you go.
And it takes both types in this world.
There you go. Need thinkers and doers. She's killing it though. She's 34 years old. She's in school full-time, works full-time as a paralegal.
Wow.
she's killing it. She wants to go for her Juris Doctorate. So I'll never win another argument.
No. You're married, you never win an argument anyways.
That's true, but at least I had a fighting chance,
Yeah.
you know? Now there's definitely no chance. Every time she's going to say, hey, I'm a lawyer, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I'm Bo.
When it comes to coatings, you know more.
Exactly, there you go, I know this. And if I don't know something, I call my buddy Ivan LaCroix here. So here's another question now, you having DIY detail.
Yep.
For some time, they said that graphene was the future of coatings. Is that still the case? I know graphene coatings are still popular, but have they or will they make that staple in the market that people thought?
No. Graphene is a good thing to have in coatings, but its longevity isn't what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
So realistically, the graphene molecules will hang together for about 3 years. Maybe a little longer, but not much longer. But a graphene coating isn't just graphene. It's just one of the components in the coating that's graphene. So there's still SiO2 in there.
Yeah. Now, are you saying that with your coating or just graphene coatings in general?
Graphene coatings in general.
Okay.
So if we look at graphene oxide, or reduced graphene oxide, which is what most everyone is using, it forms like a matrix. You've all seen the images that they put on Facebook and all that.
Yeah.
It looks like a chain link fence. Eventually, those bonds between the atoms break down. It's called fracturing. It takes about 3 to 4 years for the graphene to fracture. Once it's fractured, it's like the desert floor. You get the desert floor wet, it's nice and smooth, and then you let it dry out, it's all cracked. It's still there. The graphene is still there, but it's not doing what you wanted it to do.
So it breaks down, okay.
Yeah.
So the 100 times stronger than steel argument, although graphene is stronger than steel,
Yeah.
doesn't really apply the same way in coatings.
No.
Okay.
We're never getting that perfect matrix that we see in the marketing images.
Yeah.
We're getting little clumps of graphene hanging out together, close enough together that they're helping or reducing the chance of the water spots from penetrating. And that's the real superpower of a graphene, is to help reduce water spots.
Okay.
It's not eliminating them, just helping to reduce them.
Where ceramic SiO2 sometimes can work against you when it comes to water spots.
Well, water spots really come down to poor maintenance technique,
Yeah.
because rainwater typically does not cause water spots. It's minerals that cause water spots. So
Yeah.
the people that actually listen to the marketing of some coating companies saying, you'll never need to wash your car again, just rinse it off. Yeah, they're getting water spots.
Oh, of course. I've had clients do that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had a client who he hired a local detail shop to do the coating after I had already given him a quote.
Yeah.
He goes somewhere else anyway and gets it done, because they said, yeah, with our coatings, you can just rinse it off and drive down the street and you're good.
Yeah.
So he literally did that. He would rinse it off in the morning with his garden hose with his hard Coral Springs water.
Yeah.
And he would drive down the street. And then after about a year of me maintaining his cart saying, hey man, you're getting water spots, bro. He takes it over to the shop, and the shop that installed the coating says, well, that's your detailer's fault. That's not my fault.
No.
It's like, come on, dude, really? Like, you told the guy he can go ahead and rinse the car off and drive and then keep it under a car cover and he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Got like 9 things going wrong at the same time.
Well, and I generally won't blame the detailer for that, because that's what their coating supplier has told them.
Yeah.
And they're just perpetuating the myth.
Which is sad, because the coating that they used is a very reputable coating.
Yep.
I won't say the name, but very reputable company. And I'm just really shocked that this detail shop would sell that, whether they were misguided in the first place or not. But this car was a very, very niche vehicle that's only like 1 in 100 made.
Okay.
And it was shipped in from Australia. And like that's how it was treated. Like,
Yeah.
that really hurts. I'm not going to say any more in case he sees the video.
Yeah. So the areas that you polished with the Rotary, did you see any hologramming?
I did not. I did not. As a matter of fact, that finish looks great. Now, as far as the Rotary goes, what are the speed? I know it's 1 to 6, but what are the RPM variances?
You want to keep it between 600 and 800 RPM.
Uh-huh.
And beyond that, you're good.
Okay. So where would that be on your machine? So if I do a 1, is that 600?
Speed 1 is 800 RPM.
Okay. Yeah, it felt really good.
If it were up to me, the machine would just have 2 speeds.
Okay.
So working and cleaning the pad. So speed 1, speed 6. But it's actually more expensive to do that than to have the variable speed.
How is that? That's so funny.
Because they have to make a new speed controller and all that. So
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of extra work that goes into that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's never been done before. You'd be the innovator, which you already did that with the battery placement.
Right.
So,
Well,
I mean,
we used to have 2-speed machines back in the day,
okay.
but they were, too fast and way too fast. That was the 2 speeds.
The 2 settings was no chill and definitely no chill.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
And while I'm here, I'm just going to dry the wheels off. That way we're done with them.
Well, I'm gonna walk around one more time just to make sure that I'm good on my end. Which we're doing that other step though, so if I miss something, we're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's a question that you may not want on the video, you may want on the video, I don't know, but we're gonna get a little personal with this one.
Okay.
How did you and your wife meet?
Actually, before dating apps existed, there was a sort of a club. So they would get together once a week to have a meal at a restaurant.
Okay.
And they'd have 6 people sitting at the table. So 3 guys, 3 ladies, and just sitting at the table, talking to each other. And then if someone connected, they connected.
More of a social, okay.
Yeah, it was a social sort of thing.
Yeah.
Again, this was before apps and the internet and all that.
Yeah.
So that's how we met.
No way.
But we actually weren't sitting at the same table.
You weren't sitting at the same table?
No, she was sitting at the table behind me, and I could hear her talking. It's like, this lady's intelligent. I'd like to meet her.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So she said that she was after the thing, her friend was saying, "Oh, let's go out to dance at this club."
Yeah.
So I went to that club.
There you go.
And that's where I met her face to face.
There you go.
Yeah. So
It's been romance ever since.
Yep. 26 years of bliss.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Windows peak here. And then we're going to do something you haven't seen before, which is adhesion promoter polish. So instead of a panel prep,